Steve opens up cheap Chinese gear. Does it suck? No one knows. Well, he knows.
Hey there, Rednecks, Preppies, Redneck Preppies. It's me, the Redneck Preppy. How you doing today? Great? Good. So, we got ourselves another edition of Cheap Chinese Outdoor Gear Reviews, and today we got ourselves, courtesy of the fine folks at Wish.com, the new fish bite alarm. Oh my word, it's so poetic, these product names. And as the box helpfully tells us, it is in fact made in China. So this does fulfill the criteria of being both from China and being cheap. Now, if you are a fisher of things like carp and catfish, I imagine, fish alarms aren't exactly a news to you because you more than likely use them as you've got your rods all set out waiting for something to bite. For the rest of us, though, we tend not to use fish bite alarms unless it's like, for the kids, so they know if there's a tug on the line, or maybe you're fishing at night and you're using a finesse presentation. Maybe you don't feel that bite or you're not sure. Well, the new fish bite alarm promises to keep you in the loop. So we are going to investigate whether this thing is actually worth the money that I paid for it, and whether it's something that you, in fact, should add to your fishing arsenal. So we're going to look at the ad which prompted this purchase. We're going to unbox it. Then we're actually going to test it. And then I'll finally, of course, give you my thoughts on this fine piece of quality fishing equipment. All right, so here's the ad which prompted this purchase. As you can see by the image on your screen, that is in fact what it looks like. And it is known under the ungainly title of New Fishing Bite Alarms LED Light Fishing Line Gear Alert Indicator Buffer Fishing Supplies. I have been an angler for many, many years. I have no idea what buffer fishing supplies means. Hopefully that mystery will be solved when we use this darn thing. And here is the description. It's not quite the sea of text that we're used to with these Wish.com ads. Its advantages: you can rotate the middle thread to adjust the tension sensitivity of the fish line to adapt to various environments and weights of fish. Good to know. The switch behind the volume can also be adjusted. I would hope switches could, in fact. It's got an owl design, stylish and beautiful if those things matter to you. It features a sound light alarm device, portable and easily installed. The outer layer, sealed without bolt, is made up of sturdy and durable ABS. It's usable with different kinds of rod in different terrain and weather. I'm not entirely sure what different terrain you could use it on other than water, but here we are. It's power saving. The 3 batteries equipped can be in use for 1 or 2 years if the power is turned off when in no use. Now you know. No damage to fishing line. It is very sensitive to fish which swallows the bait. Awesome. This LED light alert is the ideal indicator for night fishing. Super. And that, friends, is the ad which encouraged me to buy this. Okay, so here's the packaging. This is exactly what you get in the generic mailer that arrived at my home some time ago. It's the new fish bite alarm. Very evocative. Tells you exactly what it is. Surprisingly, made in China. I know, I'm shocked too. The brand is Fish New. However, you might not be able to see it, but this is actually just a sticker on the box, so I have a feeling Fish New just rebranded something else that was already being manufactured in the fine slave dungeons of Shenzhen or Guangzhou. So, there you go. On the top, helpfully, it is mini, cheap, and convenient. I have a feeling that none of these things are true except maybe mini. So some of the copy on it. I don't usually go over the boxes now, but this is so comically bad, I figured what the hell. So new fish bite alarm. There's a new fish bite alarm coming out in the fishing tackle world. And this alarm is easy to use and take.
You only need to clamp it on the fishing rod, and the spring protects the surface of the rod. PLS, presumably please, see the reference picture in the Z shape. Now, I don't know what they're talking about with the reference picture. Perhaps it's this, but I don't know. There is no picture included. Turn on the switch and the alarms start to work. When the fish bite the hook with the lure and the line moves, that will make the do, do, do voice, especially in the night alarms with the LED. This quality product has got the approvement of the patent. Easy to catch fish. Damn straight, yo. Thumbs up on that one. And on the other side, you've got what passes for instructions. New fish bite alarm, 2 kinds of warnings. Filter false bite, 1 short bite, only 2 rings. The fish bite the hook just a second, then escape. Or pulling the fishing line by external force, such as water flow. But the fish did not really eat the hook. Don't be misled by winding grass. 2, biting continuously, ringing many times. The fish eats the hook for more than a second, and it will keep ringing until the hook is removed, making sure the fish really bite. Not afraid of the fish running. Clear as mud. So when you open this up, this is what you're greeted with. Yep. Just as the packaging and the ad on wish.com suggests, this is the glory that is the new fish bite alarm. We'll start with the back. Here's your power button, quality manufacturing, turn it on, and then you keep turning for the volume of the alarm. Pretty easy. There's your speaker, which is quite loud actually, and in here is where the batteries go, and it uses 3. Did the piece just break? Okay, I'll explain that one in a second. It has 3 batteries in there. It uses AG13/LR44 batteries. Alright, let's get this back on here. Everything about this is awkward, like nothing fits very well. On the top, that's the part that goes onto your rod. And in the front, you've got yourself the LED light right here. You've got the setting of the sensitivity for the line to trigger the alarm. And right here is where the trigger is for the alarm. Now it's currently set to pretty hard, I think. Yeah, now it's fairly loose. So most sensitively sensitive. Now that part that fell off, quality manufacturing. It's the Fish New logo. It's supposed to be right there. But it doesn't even want to be associated with this piece of crap. So how does this work? Well, it's pretty darn simple, my friends. So you've got this on your rod. Let's pretend my finger's the rod. You got the line going from the reel. Goes around here, back out towards where the lure is. And as a fish presumably yanks your line, it will grow taut and push that up. Now I would show you how well this works, but well, it died. This thing doesn't actually work anymore. In fact, it barely ever really even worked. It's got 3 fresh batteries, I know, because I bought them literally 5 hours ago, and they're good until 2025. But the unit just does not want to work. And yes, the batteries are in there the right way. So there you go. That's what you get for your $9 Canadian. The new fish bite alarm. And I wish I could demonstrate to you the noise that it makes and the light that emanates from that LED. You'll actually see that later because I kind of do it on camera. Anyway, there you go. That's what you get. So this is the part where you'd normally see the product in action, but unfortunately that footage disappeared somewhere. Not that you're really missing much. Given how well it performed and the fact that it cost a grand total of about $9, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really inclined to go out and get more footage of this thing. So what I'm going to do instead is describe how well or not well it worked. In place of footage, here is a fine picture totally true of me and some friends fishing. Some guy offered to draw it. He was talking about drawing me like he drew his French girls. I didn't really get it, but whatever. Picture turned out pretty good. So I recognized fairly early on that this device was really only suited for vertical fishing techniques, like finesse fishing in a boat or rods that were stationary. Think like a carp setup on shore. I have a feeling that had I tried casting with this, that this thing pretty quickly would have ended up flying off into the water. Again, not a huge loss. I only tried this as part of finesse fishing, specifically a wacky style worm presentation. I figured that would give the alarm the best chance to succeed because the lack of any weight outside of the worm and the hook meant that any action at the end of the line should trigger the alarm. Any bite and subsequent line movement would be transmitted as clearly and cleanly as possible to the alarm. Also, you tend to use finesse fishing when bites are the lightest, presumably when you would want to use a fish alarm. That pretty much revealed the biggest problem with this particular fish alarm. You can set the sensitivity, but even at its lowest setting, it's a bit of a hit or miss whether the alarm will go off. And by that I mean, not really go off. If you do get a particularly light bite, which with some fish at certain times of the year are a certainty, the alarm doesn't go off. It's only when the fish has the lure and goes off on a tear that it does. The problem is that unless your hands are made out of lead or your fishing pole is a telephone line, at that point, you already know you have a fish. The point of a fish alarm is to alert you when you don't know. In all honesty, I can't see any angler going to use this product even if it did work better. The point of fishing is to feel that bite and then set the hook. It's a skill that you develop, learning the difference between a lure that's just ticking off some vegetation or a rock compared to when a fish is actually lipping your lure just before it sucks it in. You know, maybe this will be good for some kids' fishing rods so that when their attention inevitably flags, they at least have a light and sound show to recapture their attention when they have a fish. Assuming that the alarm actually goes off when they do have one.
So, is this actually worth the money? I'm going to be honest with you. No, not really. I mean, it kind of works. I find that the sensitivity on it isn't really great, particularly when you get down to the supposedly very sensitive settings. You can certainly hear it, and the LED light is certainly a thing. But to be honest with you, no, I don't think this is particularly great. Now, I think I'd give this a pass. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever reviewed on the Cheap Chinese Outdoor Gear series. I've certainly reviewed far worse than this. But at the end of the day, I really don't think it's worth the money. So I would give it a pass. You know what? Learn how to feel the tick of a line when there's a fish on it, and you can make do without that. Particularly since I'm not entirely sure it's all that great for casting. I have a feeling that that thing will fly off at some point. So the only thing it would potentially be good for is if you are still fishing, you're employing a finesse pattern. You know, maybe it's in the middle of summer and, you know, the fish really aren't biting all that well or with any great enthusiasm, and this might give you a little bit of help in that regard. Other than that, I don't think it's worth the money. It was only $9, but I think you could do better with a fish alarm if you really need one. At any rate, I hope you found this review entertaining and informative. If not, well, I apologize. They can't all be winners. I hope you have yourself a great day, and may all of your lines be tight. Take care.